database. So watch it very carefully. So I'm over here in the OpenOffice launcher window. Now from this launcher window, one way is go to the open button, and when you click the open button, you will get a navigator, that is the open dialog box. Now you have to actually navigate to the location where you have saved your database. So I usually save my databases here, and this is the database company DB. Then you can see here hospital management system, which I had created for 10th B, library management system, which I had created for 10th A. Okay, school DB. So all these are base OpenOffice base projects. Okay, that is databases. The others you can see over here with A written, they were created in Access, right? So I'm going to go for company DB. I can click here and click on open, or you can see this drop down arrow. We can click this drop down arrow, and this drop down arrow shows a list of recently accessed databases or recently accessed OpenOffice files, whether database, whether writer documents or calc spreadsheets or impress presentation. All of them are visible here. So here you can see company DB is displayed at the top, so we can open it from here also. And last option is go to database, and here it asks, the first question is select database. What do you want to do? Now there are 3 radio buttons. Radio buttons means out of these radio buttons you can select only one radio button. So here the second one you have to select, open an existing database file. The first one is in case you are creating a new database file from scratch, but here you are going to open an existing database file. So it already is displayed here in the recently used list. So if you click this list, this shows all the recently accessed databases. You can select it from here, or you can click on open button again, and again you have to navigate to that location where you have saved all your databases. Got it? So this open dialog box is a bit hard way, but if your database is already visible over here, you don't need to do all that. Once you have done this, click on finish and wait for the database window to open. So our database window is open now. As you can see here, company DB is the database, and there are 4 different objects which you can create here, right? We have to first check what all tables we have, because until and unless we have at least one table in the database, we cannot create queries. Okay, and you can see there are already so many tables which we have created, and I even added a few more tables in the database. But today we are going to start with a very simple table, that is teacher table. Understood? So, one second. Or maybe we can start with the customers table. No. We can start with the employee table today, because already teacher table I have taken for 10th B. So I'm not going to repeat that here. That already I have recorded the session so that it will be available to you. And this one I'm recording so that this will be available to them. Right, so we have this employee table over here. You can see this employee code, employee name, department number, designation, and salary. So we will be, today's class will be based on this table only. We will be using this table to create all our queries. Very first question which I am going to pose as a query question is, we are using the table employee. Query is display all employee information on the table employee. Display all employee information, that is, display the information regarding all fields and all records. Fields we already know, and all records. That is display all the fields, all the records in all the fields from the table employee, right? So I will close this table window now. I'll go back to my database window and I will select queries from here. So now we are going to design queries and you can see three options. Create query in the design view, use wizard to create query. These two are GUI based point and click views, and the last one is create query in SQL view. That is, in this view we have to design SQL queries. Just like we went to tools and selected the SQL option, you can do it over here also. Now these are the already created queries which I had created for 10th B class, okay, and that too we worked on the teachers table. We have a teachers table over here, teacher table, and on that teacher table we had created all these queries. So for you people also we will be creating all the queries and we will be saving all our queries. Okay, so let's start. First is create query in the design view. So we will be creating query using the design view first. So I'm going to click on this. And when you click on design view, it gives you a small dialog box, add table or query. With this, now in this dialog box, you can view all the tables which are there in your database. And not only that, you also have a second radio button there saying queries. That is, if already you have the queries, you can select some queries also in order to add it to your query window here, the current query. But right now I'm going to concentrate only on tables. Okay. Now, which table are we going to select over here? Because we are asking questions to which table we have already fixed that all are the our query belongs to what? Employees. That is, display all employee information, right? And for that we need to select which table? Employee table. So we have selected employee table. Now we will click on this add button over here. When you click on this add button, you can see that in the background this employee table is added. Now this dialog box doesn't close. Why? Because our query can contain more than one tables also. So it allows us to select as many tables as we can and add them over here. But because in this particular query I am using only employees table, employee table, so I will close this dialog box. So I am closing this. Now we come down here. And here you'll be able to see a few things like field, alias, table, sort, visible, function, criterion, and or. You will understand the meaning of all these keywords as and when we solve our queries, right? Now the first question was to display all the information about all the employees. That is, you have to display values of all the fields as well as you have to display all the records. Okay, so when I click on, firstly I will be in the first column over here, field. I have to select which fields I have to display, which fields the query will answer in. Okay, that is, I'm asking a question that display all the information. So what will be the response of the database? It needs to know which all fields have to be displayed as a result of the query. So here I have to display all the fields, right? So when I click this drop down arrow, you can see the first one, that is employee dot asterisk. And then you can see all the fields within the table. What is the meaning of this asterisk? Make a note of it. Asterisk means all fields. Select all fields. That is, I'm not going to select each field one by one, but just selecting employee dot asterisk will mean I'm instructing base to display all the field data. That is, I'm selecting or I'm choosing to display all the fields, right? So here I'm going to select what? Employee dot asterisk. Individually also you can do, like select emp code, then from the next you select emp name, then next you select department number. You can select each of them individually also. But what if your table contains some 15 to 20 fields and you want to display all those fields, but you don't want to consume time in selecting each of them here? So for that purpose only, I have selected what? The simple one, that is employee dot asterisk. So I'm going to just remove it from here. Okay, and I'm selecting the first one, that is employee dot asterisk. This one doesn't matter because you have another thing here that is visible. Now here you can control whether this particular field will be visible or not. Like salary, if I have put a tick mark over here, it means it will be visible. So I will just uncheck it because already salary will be displayed because it is part of employee dot asterisk, right? So when I have put a check over here, it means all the field data will be displayed, right? So I have selected employee dot asterisk and I have set its visibility to yes. Now my query is created. It was a simple query where I had to display all the employee information. So I'll go back over here and I will save my query. Now how to save your query? Normally I use this technique to save the query. All employee data. Query underscore all employee data. Query word, it allows you to understand that this is a query, and then followed by a short description which will tell you what the query result would be. Okay. Click on OK and my query is saved. Now what is needed? What will be the result of the query? So for the result of the query, you need to run the query. So for running the query, on the standard toolbar here, you can see Run Query button. Take a very good look at this button. This is a small button with a tick mark on it. So Run Query button, and you can also see in the tooltip, you can see the shortcut key, that is F5. So you can press F5 from your keyboard, or you can click on this button in order to run the query. So now when I click on this button, you can see the result of the query here. Because it was display all employee information, so you can see all the employee information is being displayed here. All the records and all the fields. A very simple question. Now that I am done with this query, I am going to close this query window. Go back to my database window, and here I have to check whether the query is created or not. And you can see in the queries section, the very first query here, all employee data. So all the queries are displayed here in the alphabetical order. Let's move on to the second question. So let me just open the table and check the data here. Just a second to create queries. Now my next question is, second question is, display the names of all employees along with their salary. Now in this query, you can see that the question being asked, it doesn't involve all the fields. Only the names of the employees along with their salary. That is, I only want to display the employee name and the salary field, not the other fields. Only these two fields will be displayed. Okay, so how will you do that? So let us design a query for that. So I'm going back to my database window, select Queries tab, click on the first option, that is Create Query in Design View. Select the table, that is Employee, click on Add, click on Close. Now just pay attention over here. So field what field am I going to select here? Am I going to select the first one, which means display all the field data, or am I going to select only a few select fields from here? Tell me. Yes, students? Very simple question. What am I going to select from here? You have seen the query. The question you have already seen. Display the names of all employees along with their salary. Students, am I audible? Okay, then answer the question. Simple question I have asked. Because I am going to display only the employee names. Yes.
Ma'am, employee name and salary.
Yes, very good. I am going to select employee name first and then click on the next column here, and from here select salary. Because now I am not going to display all the fields, only select fields. And I will also make sure that its visibility is set to yes. So both these fields will be displayed. Go back, save your query. So I'm going to save my query as employee name and salary and click on OK and run this query, and you can see only employee name and salary is being displayed, whereas the original table contains all the fields. If you go back and if you check the original table from the table section, all the fields and all information is there. Your actual data remains inside your table only. Query is only something which is fetching, which only knows what to fetch from the table. Query actually fetches data from your table. Okay. So until and unless you have a table, you cannot create a query. Okay. So your table is as it is. Query is showing you only employee name and salary, because maybe your boss doesn't want to know the other details, only the employee names and salary. What is the salary of each employee? Understood? So this is the second query which we have done. Let us just increase the difficulty level of the questions a little bit. Display the display the names and salary of those employees who get a monthly salary of more than 30,000. Very simple question. Display the names and salary of those employees. That is, again, I want to display only names and salary of those employees. Now, there is a criteria here, condition. Now comes the condition, or we also say criteria. Why? Because now we will be filtering the records based on these conditions. Okay, that is, I don't want to display all the employee information. I want the information of only those employees whose salary is more than 30,000. And for this, again, please make a note of all the relational operators you have. You have to use these relational operators here. Just like you have your arithmetic operators, your relational operators are greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, and not equal to. So this is, wait a sec. Please make a note of it in your copy. Greater than, this is less than, greater than, equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equals, this is the equality operator, and this is not equal to. Okay, see, now this greater than or equal to symbol, it's not the same as that used in your mathematics. In your mathematics, you are actually using these symbols, but because we don't have any such symbol on the keyboard, hence we are using it this way. So whenever it comes to anything related to computer science, you will always, everywhere, in every programming language, in every software, you will find these two symbols being replaced by these two. Okay, greater than and equal to and less than and equal to. So please make a note of this in your copy right now. Okay. So now over here we will be filtering the record. So we need a condition here. What will be the condition in this case? That salary field will be greater than 30,000. Right. Let's do this. We go back again. Queries. First option, query in design view. Just a moment. I'll just wrap up with this one. Select employee, add it, close it. Come down to fields. Again, I have to display only the employee name and only the salary of the employee. And I'll be setting a criterion now. You can see criterion here. And just in front of the criterion, now you have to remember, what are you going to filter the records based on? My records are going to be filtered based on which field? Salary field. Because what is asked? Those employees who get a monthly salary of more than 30,000. That means I have to make changes in the salary field. So I will be checking the criterion row under the salary column, and here I will be typing greater than 30,000. You can see it over here, greater than 30,000 I have typed here. And now I'll go back, I'll save it. $30,000, click on OK. My query is saved. I will run the query and this is my result. 3 records. Okay, 3 employees who get salary greater than 30,000. If you want to cross check it, you can cross check it from here. We have, you can see here, Amit Raj, S. Velan and S. R. Das. These are the 2 people whose salary is greater than 30,000. Why this 30,000 is not included? Because your criteria is greater than, not greater than, equal to. Understood that? Please remember it. So with this, students, I end today's class.